Hey folks, welcome to a really interesting video where me, Coach Scott, Bulletproof Cyclist, going to talk to a founder member of the club. You're going to get an insight into, who he is, where he's from, type of cycling he does, where his fitness was before he joined the community, where his fitness is now, what he's learned from the community, and maybe some extra insights that might actually connect with you as a rider, maybe as a dad, maybe as a business owner, maybe as a busy person looking for that extra advantage to maximize their fitness, maximize their recovery, and just looking for an extra level of accountability, possibly. Okay, so this is not just about following a training plan. We'll dive in a little bit deeper and we'll get to know Woz. So, well, I call him Woz. His name is Chris. He's from Denver. Chris has got more bikes than he's got dogs, and he's got two of them. So he does cyclocross, gravel, road, and he even does that crazy thing called running in his spare time as well. But Woz is a business owner as well, and obviously living at high altitude, he's a phenomenally fantastic person to have inside the community. And as a founder member, what does that mean? Well, he's been here since January, since day one of opening the club. So Woz is fully on his way to becoming 100% bulletproof. Chris, thanks for joining on this very special first edition of interviews with the Bulletproof community.
Sure. Well, first, thanks for having me on and for being part of the community. Just thanks for having the community. I think such a great find and something that I think has been missing for me personally. And I think for probably a lot of folks too. I actually started as one of those two-legged on the ground, no pedals, no wheels, assisting athletes running from a young age. And I did also do some cycling, but it was just for fun. I was a teenager. It was great. It was in the heyday of the American cycling teams getting into the Tour de France, Greg LeMond and all that. So I have some cycling history. I've done lots of different training plans. I used to do Ironman training as well. So I feel like I have accessed and have experienced a lot of different training. But I found, like a lot of people, I found Coach Scott through YouTube because I was looking at some specific bike fitting or related information, led me ultimately into the club. So where my cycling and fitness was before was pretty good. But I'm also over 50 and struggle with some of the same challenges that a lot of people do when we hit that master's age. I think I was having trouble balancing the overall approach to fitness. So in any given moment or any given race or weekend, I could have a really good day, but also tying it together from both a structured training in a way that made sense for me as a master's athlete. Some of those things that we all know we should be doing, putting more shape to recovery, sleep, nutrition, oxidative stress, really, I wasn't really tuned in to the degree that I knew I could be. And so that was me before. So when I joined the club, obviously all that stuff opened up. It's filled in those gaps in knowledge. It's allowed me to maybe remember, okay, yes, I know that. Here's how I apply that principle to my own training. And also given me the confidence to really guide myself with more better information and also benefiting from everyone else's experience. It's good to know you're not alone and be like, oh yeah, that sounds like me. So I've really benefited from that aspect as well since joining the club.
Fantastic. Now, obviously, as coach, and I see your numbers, I know that your fitness has improved, and I know that you've got some big numbers, and you've got, the traditional metrics, great FTP, great VO2. But obviously, I try and go beyond those numbers. How would you say that your fitness has changed since you started the club?
Great question, and thanks for bringing that up because I, like a lot of people, did measure as best I could FTP. Having been a long distance runner and other, triathlete, I of course have a sense of how well is my heart rate behaving and what's my feel, right? How has my fitness improved? Well, there's certainly been a change in my FTP. I attribute that to smarter training. I think what's shifted most for me in my fitness is, yes, my FTP has gone up, but I think the biggest difference for me has been my focus on taking advantage of my ability to train my zone 2 and my overall cardiac capacity. I mean, you've seen my numbers. And when we first kind of met up, you said, oh, what if the top of your zone 3 was at X? And it's pretty much there now, if not over that number. That's been the biggest change for me. I've always had the ability to push myself really hard, but I think that long, pushing the uh, my capacity to absorb the longer, endurance efforts, and just have that confidence that I have that base in my cardiac fitness and my overall zone two, my mitochondrial function is really the biggest difference for me. I now
Yeah,
really have a sense for where my zones are, and I can play around with those, and we can use those into my training versus just fixating on one number.
exactly.
Yeah.
People may be watching and thinking, well, everything's about FTP. Well, there is a lot of myths about FTP, but when FTP moves, all other zones will move, but not everything is linear. And I talk often about that we
Mhm.
will develop the upload and the download of oxygen ahead of FTP being that capillary density. So that zone two training, but it takes discipline, doesn't it? Was is a classic, warrior mindset, living outside your comfort zone. And that's hard, but then that dials into your well-being. Has the community enhanced and given you that sort of bulletproof approach to well-being? Was
Well, one, it's just motivating to see everyone embracing their own journey. I'm not one to, well, if I'm in a race, I probably will compare myself at some level, but it's because I want to push myself to my limit.
Yeah.
And okay, where's my limit compared to someone else's? It's just a nice, we all have that ego and satisfaction. But did I give my all? Yes. But seeing everyone giving their all, I think in the community is just reinforcing for me. It's helped me say, okay, I see others committing to this holistic approach. It's a good reminder that, of course, I can do it too. I can have that discipline. I've learned a long time ago that the value of my take it easy days, and I think perhaps one of the things that the community has as a good example would be I tend to be pretty quick to say, look, I feel like crap today, or my week's been really stressful. I'm okay to just back my workout down and just get on the bike and spin. But I think
yeah.
seeing other people go through a similar thing has just made that much more natural and a part of my how I approach training in life.
Was has been very sort of he's been very casual about that, but within the community himself, you've actually become that classic everyday hero that I talk about. But that journey, it's not easy. It suddenly, it grows and grows because you've faced lots of challenges in your life outside. And I know you've shared some in the group and, but that aspect, that's something that I want to be completely unique to this community where people can come in, we can develop our fitness, we can develop our well-being, but also there is not just a level of accountability between each other, but there's a level of support so that concept I talk about, the everyday hero, we use cycling as a nucleus, almost like a little Bunsen burner that we turn on and it gives us the flame and the power to achieve way beyond what we ever thought possible in everyday life, whether that be professional or social life as well. And I think that maybe you can give an example of that, but you're a good example of how that part of the course has really developed in someone like yourself.
Sure. I think what's really rewarding is people are willing to share what's going on beyond just how they're doing with the training. All of those supporting elements of how's your stress, how's your eating, what challenges are you dealing with in life. That's reality. I mean,
Yeah.
we're here. Every day is different. My day job is running a business. I'm responsible for other people and all the financials and things, and it's been a little stressful. And so it's okay, I think, to realize that it's life. And yes, training's, as you said, it's the nucleus. It helps me, specifically cycling and just a focus on my health and my fitness helps me deal with that other stuff. And also, I know it's a balance. It's a dance between stress levels of life and the fun stress of training and fitness. What the community has helped is hearing stories from other people and their challenges and their goals and their desires and their, what they've been able to accomplish and maybe what they've struggled with, and seeing all of us rally around each other. It's just reassuring. It's nice to know there's people who have your back. You can express that to, and they're going to get it, right? Everyone in the community is going through some version of their own journey like mine. So that's been very rewarding.
Yeah, that's really well put because obviously seeing everybody in the group. I've seen people come who've got health challenges. People have got fitness challenges. They believe that they are at the bottom in terms of an FTP number, and they feel totally isolated, thinking, well, nobody else is as bad as me. But within a week, even within a week inside the community, I can see them grow as people. And I talk about the confidence via the compliance of the workouts and the support that they get. And if I can improve the confidence of people, then all aspects of life improve. If somebody's watching this video right now and they're, thinking about joining, or they're considering, or maybe they've had experiences before following training plans, maybe that's been successful, maybe they've hit a plateau, maybe they're unsure. What would you say to someone who's maybe watching right now to say, hey, this could be the place that changes everything in terms of your fitness and your well-being?
Even if you're coming from a place, as I was, where I've been an athlete for 40 years, pretty much. And so it's easy to think, on the one hand, you can be a bit stubborn, and those Gen Xers out there, this is just what we do, right? You just figure it out and you carry on and whatever. But I think we also recognize the benefit of community, right? Of having someone else to just do this with. But what I would say is, even if you feel you're pretty capable and you're fairly well learned in the arts of, training, there's always something to learn. You should, I try to always think, what else can I learn? What's new? What's perhaps different? What's the science saying now? What do we know now that we perhaps didn't know? Or what am I ignoring just because I can't be bothered, right? Because it's what I've always done, and it's easier to just do what you've always done. So I'd say, even if you're at that point, give yourself the permission to learn and grow. And I plan to be around for another 50 years. So I want to learn new things. This is fantastic. So I would say, even if you're at that level, but I would also say, I love seeing people who are new to this whole concept. There's so much to absorb, and it can be overwhelming, but just know your journey, just take it step by step and remain curious, no matter where you're entering this process, this amazing thing that we get to do, which is, ride our bikes and enjoy our life, is just be curious, be open to learning. I think that's probably what I would say to everyone is, if you're hesitating because you think, what incremental thing am I going to get? It's greater than the sum of the parts. So I would think it's an experience of growth that you should take a chance.
That's beautiful, Woz. I feel almost emotional listening to that. Now, as a coach, it's great for me because the way that I can speak to Chris, although we are separated by a large gulf of water, different accents, different continents, never mind countries, we become friends. We become, associated through the common theme of our bicycles. Okay, me coach, and Chris is obviously athlete, but we're on a level playing field. We're on an equal podium. The community is not somewhere where I stand up as coach and say, this is my community, you must do this, that. The community embraces everybody having a voice, everybody having a say, and people get to shape things as we go forward. And it's very progressive, a little bit like life. And was mentioned very cleverly, the funneling of the mindset. And what we try and do is make sure that we've got peripheral vision. There are people in the group in their 60s, in their 70s, in their 80s. It's incredible wealth. But there's also people in their 20s and their 30s. There is all aspects, all continents within the group. So it's continuing to grow, and there's possibly a space there for you. If you've enjoyed hearing what Woz has got to say about the community, but you also think there's a spot for you inside this group, but you want to learn more, click the link in the description below where you will get access to my live class this Thursday. Now, I teach in small groups, so click that link quickly because the spaces will fill up. But inside that session, I will share with you the training, the recovery, how to become an everyday hero, how your training impacts on your well-being, but also within the community, how you will progress. You will not plateau. Even in the darkest days, there will be someone there to support you through this. This is like no other training plan on the internet because you've got a live, interactive, real person with you every step of the way. but I'm just the coach. The community itself will make sure that you reach and surpass any goal that you've set. Hopefully, I'll see you in that class. Thanks, Woz. Thanks, everybody, for watching. I'll see you all soon.